I'm gonna hold high because I shot the crap out of this target already. Let's do some. That's a lot of offset. All right, do it again. The nice thing is I stacked them on each other. Plate carrier, like all plate carriers, gets in the way a little bit, but one thing I will say that's hard to do, and this is true of any plate carrier, it's really hard to pull into your shoulder with your gun. Your arms get real tired, and this gets in the way, especially if you're a skinny dude like me. Now, if you got some meat on you, you're a normal sized dude, you don't look like Gumby or Woody from a Toy Story, you're not gonna have this issue. But for real skinny guys, this plate basically goes all the way to the edge. You can buy smaller plate carriers with smaller plates, you know, to kind of alleviate that, but I like the added protection. I'll deal with not being able to shoulder my weapon perfectly. I can still control recoil just fine. Oh, let's just see if I can control recoil. Yeah, all my rounds, 5 yards, basically within $50, so I'm cool with that. Today we're going to be talking about this plate carrier right here. This is made by Tacticon, and it is their BattleVest Elite plate carrier. So I've been using this for a little while now. I've taken out on a couple of range trips just to try to, you know, kind of get a feel for it, wear it around, see how comfortable it is, what I like, what I don't like about it. This isn't going to be a long-term durability test. Honestly, I don't have the time to do stuff like that anymore. It just takes too much time. Yeah, I mean, if you're interested, I'll, you know, make an update video a year or two down the road, you know, kind of let you know how it's going. But they sent this to me, and for, you know, full disclosure here, they did send this to me free of charge, so I didn't pay anything for it. You know, no money was changed hands, so you can say that makes me biased. I don't think it does, because I'm going to say what I think anyways, regardless. As you all know, I don't care what a company thinks about my review. I be professional, and I am professional, but I'm going to tell you what I think, because I don't do this to make money. I do this as a kind of as a service to y'all, and also just kind of as a hobby for myself. But so they did send this out to me. They contacted me and said, hey, we like a lot of stuff on your channel. Would you be interested in reviewing, you know, some of our gear, you know? And I thought this would be a good choice because it has a lot of features that you see on more expensive plate carriers, but, you know, are significantly more expensive. And let's get that out of the way first. They have this retailed on their website for like $150. I think it's like $149 or something like that. Now, that said, during Christmas and other times, you'll see just absolutely ridiculous sales that they have. Like, it was like 40 or 50% off, I think, if I remember correctly, around Christmas. So if you look for their sales, they have stuff like this where it's almost half off. So if you're looking for something, you know, like this, you can get it as low as like, you know, 75, 80 bucks, somewhere around there, you know, depending on the time of year. So my advice is, you know, wait for a good sale. They have a whole bunch of other gear. I looked at their website. You know, they have a whole bunch of other good, you know, looking stuff out there. Quality-wise, whenever I first got it, quality-wise, it reminded me of newer Condor material, which is actually what this is right here. But I think it's actually a step above that. So if you're familiar with, you know, like this 6 mag pouch right here, it's actually made by Condor, and it's made with, you know, real multicam fabric. But they kind of cheap out on a few things, like the Molly webbing itself is actually just made of the same fabric, just kind of folded over itself. So, you know, there's some things that, you know, they cut corners to lower cost, but, you know, quality wise it's still fine, durability wise it's still fine. It's just not, you know, as high end as, you know, some more other options out there. The Tacticon vest, from what I've seen so far, you know, I mean, some of their other stuff might be different, but from what I've seen, it's very similar to the Condor stuff, except they don't cut corners when it comes to like their Molly. They use an actual like a Velcro laser cut Molly. So that has its pros and cons. I'll show you on the backside what that looks like, but, you know, here's a little strip of it here. You can kind of see a little bit of it sticking out. So everything's being covered right now by my everything's being covered by the Condor and this, you know, camera phone case right here. So I'll kind of show you the backside, what that looks like here in a second. But the backing material, it's not actual multicam, and that to me is probably one of the biggest downsides for this plate carrier, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of multicam and the fabric itself, mainly because it's, IR reflectivity, or whatever you want to call that, is significantly lower than other materials. I released a video recently showing a bunch of gear like this that I just had laying around. You know, some of it's knockoff stuff off Amazon, some of it's Condor, some of it's, you know, high-end stuff, some of it's like AR500. And some of it's military surplus. If you're interested in seeing what all that different, you know, fabrics and camo types look like under night vision, especially under IR illumination, you know, you can check that video out. I'll insert a video clip here of what this looks like under IR light with a PVS 14. It's a Gen 3 tubes, Elbit tubes, and they're white phosphor. But I'll show you what that looks like here. There we go. Kind of glows compared to that. So that's real multicam versus just a camo pattern that they have. Is that a big deal? No, not really. It's going to be worse with IR illumination. Speaking of, sorry, if that will cooperate. Yes, there's a little bit of shadow here because of this iris that's on the front. So, but you get some IR illumination. It's kind of cool. So over here, you can see the IR glows or makes that plate carrier reflect a lot of that light. You can see the difference between the multicam and the regular. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's got enough camo on there, and if you have pouches and stuff, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But just know, you know, there is some reflectivity on it. Let me turn this thing around. So there's the back side of it. Obviously it glows, kind of like one of my backpacks and that Haley Strategic knockoff that I did a review. Well, I haven't done a review on, but at some point I'm going to. There's the side. The inner material also reflects. The buckles and straps do not, so that's good. But that backing material, whatever it is not good with IR. So again, that just kind of gives you an idea. And for reference, that Mandalorian patch is IR reflective. That's what it's designed for. So just to give you an idea what these look like under NVGs. So as you can see, or as you did see, that to me, the IR reflectivity is the biggest downside for this plate carrier. Is it a huge deal? Honestly, it's not. Everyone on the internet talks about how the IR reflectivity, or, you know, how much your equipment's going to glow under night vision, you know, is going to get you killed kind of thing. And honestly, I think there's some truth to that, but I think really if you have night vision at all, this stuff didn't really glow until you had IR light on it. Like, yeah, you could see like this backing material right here, just it didn't have a camo pattern at all to it. It just looked like a solid color, and so did these straps here. The Velcro itself actually blended in fairly well, but whenever you saw like on here this actual multicam dye and fabric, you could still see the camo patterns on here, so it blended a lot better. Versus this just looked kind of, you know, like a solid color. You didn't actually see the camo pattern. At distance, I don't think that's really going to matter. I don't think you're really going to see it. Plus, you're going to cover this up with all kinds of crud that's going to add more texture and, you know, kind of different signatures under IR. So I don't think that's going to be, you know, a big deal, or as much as you say. Plus on the back side, which I showed you, you know, you can cover that up with a backpack, you know, if you want to, this actual multicam, and that kind of negates that as well. This inside, you know, does glow significantly, but it's against your body, so you're not really going to see it. So all that said, I don't think that's really a big deal, especially if you have night vision. If you have night vision, you're going to see somebody using infrared light. It's just, I mean, it's literally a flashlight that you can see, you know, with night vision. So if someone's dumb enough to be using a giant flashlight, you know, with infrared light to where they're shining around, you can see exactly where they are. They're going to be broadcasting themselves. So the fact that you glow ever so slightly, you know, off in the distance, is nothing compared to the giant, you know, the beacons of Gondor have been lit, you know, that they're giving off by using their IR flashlight. So I don't really buy into that all that much. Is that something to be said? Yes. Is that a consideration? Absolutely. But if you can get this thing for under $100, you know, when it's on sale, I don't really say that as a negative, especially when you can use this as a training tool. You can use this as like a starting plate carrier. You can use this as a handoff plate carrier. Or if you're just trying to test out different things to see what you like, which is really why I wanted this plate carrier, because I wanted to test out this kind of what do you call it? This buckle system, I guess, for lack of better words. I wanted to try it out and see what I thought about it, because I've seen, you know, kind of mixed feelings, mixed reviews online of people using this, and I actually saw a bunch of combat footage recently over the video footage in Ukraine, which I'll talk about there a little bit. And a lot of the guys over there had stuff with this quick release system on there, and I've seen them use it, you know, basically when they get injured or, you know, stuff like that. So I thought this is actually pretty cool, and I wanted to test it out, kind of see how it works, because I'm an old man. I like things to be solid, and I like my cummerbunds, to be Velcro, where it takes 12, hours to take the thing off. That way, it's not falling off. But in situations like, say, if you're injured and someone needs to get to you quick, instead of having to try to pull out the medical shears and cut through your cummerbund, they can just rip that off, and then your plate carrier is gone. So it's significantly faster for something like that. So I thought that was really smart that they included them up here as well as down here. But I kind of like that idea, because if you're injured, instead of having to try to rip off Velcro, which, ripping up, rip to the side, try to swim out of it, then also try to get out of this thing, you can just pull this and dump the entire thing quickly. So this is fantastic for if you need medical aid. Could it fall off? Sure, everything can. Plastic can break, whatever. Another nice thing, if you do anything with boats, like, again, some of the guys in Ukraine have done, watch some Ukraine footage. It's pretty interesting. You can learn a lot. I'm actually going to make a few different videos on things that I've learned from that, but I digress. If you're doing water missions, you're in a boat, something like that, where this doesn't float, it's going to make you sink. Like World War II vets, ditching over the side of a landing craft. Your gear is going to try to drown you. So trying to get out of here quickly is an advantage. Am I going to only buy stuff with this? No, I don't plan on being on boats. There's not a whole lot of water around where I live. There's, small rivers and stuff, but I'll take the bridge, or, get a flotation device, get my little rubber ducky. So one of the things I really like about this plate carrier, other than these quick release buckles, is where they have their little admin pouch kind of up here. It's integrated, and it's a zipper. And as you can see right here, it has a nice little pouch that you can unzip, and you can store all your little goodies in there. So I found that useful when running a battery bank with my phone. So obviously my phone was in here, my battery on my phone, for whatever reason, my phone just decides to draw power like a madman. Something on the inside is, some sort of program is running that's not supposed to, so it heats up super fast, all that. Anyways, so I have to basically always have that thing hooked up to a battery bank, or it'll die every 3 to 4 hours. So what I did is I hooked up, put my phone in here, hooked up the battery bank, and then shoved the battery bank inside here and zipped it up. Yeah, I had a little bit of cord hanging out, but that was nice to kind of shove it in there. And I will say, having a zipper right here is way nicer and more convenient than having Velcro, like on my AR500 plate carrier. I still like my AR500 plate carrier, but I wish it had, this zipper system, because I think that's a lot more convenient to get into versus trying to wedge your fingers, or something in between the Velcro and rip it apart. Just to get something out, and then you're trying to reach in there and it cuts up your fingers and rips off loose skin. It's just annoying. So the zipper on here is a very, very nice touch that they added. Let's talk about these little quick release things here real quick. So the way they work, in case you are unfamiliar, like I was, you see there's a little arrow right here that points down. So you pull out, and you just pull out, and you rip down, and then it detaches itself. Now the way it works is, if you can see on here, there's a little hook. Hopefully you can see that. There's a hook that once you glide these in together, so all you do is put it together like this, and then once it's together, you slide up, and that hook just catches on a little piece of plastic right there. So whenever you're pulling up on this, see how it releases that hook, and it just makes it to where you can pull off, and that hook catches on this little piece of plastic right here. So it's a little shelf. Whenever you're wearing it, it's a little bit harder to put on if it's tight. So just know that. I don't know that it's any faster putting on, because it's kind of reach to put the thing on. It's faster than Velcro, don't get me wrong, and it's definitely faster than taking Velcro cummerbunds off. The main thing is it kind of slims down the front right here, because you don't have giant Velcro flaps taking up extra space, and it's just less noisy, easier to take off. Durability wise, I've used these things quite a bit, ripping them on and off, and I don't think they're going to break. I'm generally a pretty good judge of plastics, and whether or not I think they're junk or whatever, and I don't think this is going to break. It seems fairly well made. I've played with it a while, ripped it off quite a bit, and it hasn't had a problem. The ones up on the shoulders rip apart the same way. You pull up and off to the side. Could these snag on something? I guess in theory, but I'm not all that worried about it anymore, because they actually taped this together, so there's less to snag on things. It's always a possibility. If it does, just click it back in place. Takes all maybe 5-10 seconds. So I like that. I'll talk more about that here in a little bit. One of the things I don't like about it, I've already mentioned, it's not real multicam, so that to me is a negative. I wish it was. If they could, I don't know what it costs to actually get the material multicam to make your plate carriers out of, but if they could make it out of real multicam, I would say that would solve 95% of my complaints. Honestly, all the rest of the complaints are really just minor, and really that's a minor complaint too. if you have night vision. If you don't have night vision and you're not going to be able to see someone, you know, shining an IR light at you, then yeah, you probably want something that doesn't, you know, reflect IR light as much. So on the top right here, hopefully you can see this. I apologize for the lighting. It's not the greatest. They have these little flaps right here where it's for cable management, I believe, and it's just Velcro, and it just kind of has a space under here where you can put stuff, you know, tubes and whatnot. I would prefer it not be Velcro. I'd prefer, honestly, just some sort of elastic loop. But the way that they do their shoulder adjustments, it's a lot of Velcro going back and forth, so that's why they do it. So I get that this is, you know, I get why it's done the way it's done, because the way that they do these shoulder straps, like, that has to be done that way. So it's not a big deal. It's just kind of bulky looking. It just looks kind of weird. Again, bothers my OCD. Functionally, it's perfectly fine. I just wish, you know, it was slightly different. Now, the reason why they do that, and again, kind of show you here, this is their adjustment for the cummerbund. So once you detach this, you're left with this underneath here, and I'll kind of show you the other side. So you can kind of see right here, Velcro, so you can move it, as you can see over here, you can move it up or down, up here to adjust. I moved it all the way down because I'm a skinny boy, so, you know, I know, go eat a sandwich, but I moved it all the way down, and that's as small as it would get to where it adjusted to me. Now, the weight isn't necessarily all on this small piece of Velcro. It's combined between the Velcro and this buckle here that's, you know, has tons of Velcro all the way up here to our adjustments. That's another complaint I would say about this. And again, it's a small one, but I wish it had more adjustability for smaller guys. And I get that not all guys are, you know, my size, but it's hard for a smaller dude to find a plate carrier that fits him well. Even my AR-500 plate carrier that I had, I basically had to remove the quick release buckle system at the top and just, you know, take off one of the buckles and then thread the loop through to get it small enough. Now, if it's fine, but, you know, I can't take off my plate carrier easily, I have to swim out of the thing, versus this, I could just, you know, unbuckle and throw it off. So this is easier to take on and off because of that. One thing I like about this plate carrier, it's very comfortable and easy to adjust for winter clothing. So with other plate carriers, you're going to have to, like, remove buckles and adjust things, you know, reattach the Velcro. With these, you still have to adjust a couple things. But the shoulder straps that I wasn't really a fan of when I initially got it are really easy just to unvelcro, just slap them up a little bit higher, and that gives you, you know, maybe this much more length. So if you're wearing a jacket, it's really easy to adjust for winter. So I was not expecting that, but that is a plus for this design. I don't think it's as sturdy or maybe as secure as like something that's just, you know, solid woven in, or not woven in, but sewn in. But it does give you some ability to adjust some things. If my mags annoy your OCD, they annoy mine too. So you're not the only one. But anyways, I just swapped out a bunch of stuff that was on my AR-500 plate carrier and put it on this one. It's one of the reasons why I hate hoods. Everything's snagging back there. So I was gonna shoot a little bit using this. I'm not gonna, you know, go crazy and roll around on the ground. I'm not gonna do any backflips and flip-flops. Watch their channel, the Tacticon channel, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's pretty entertaining. But it'd help if I turn on my optic. But I just want to kind of see how much this plate carrier will breathe, because the mesh on the inside is not as, oh, what would you call it? Thick, spongy, I don't know, as like my AR-500 one is, because the foam isn't as dense, so there's not as much airflow. So it's about 65, I think. Might be 70 out here right now. In the sun, it feels warmer than that, and I'm sweating underneath here. And I'm not a sweater, like, not a sweater. I'm basically a camel. My body reserves water, like it's going out of style. So if I'm sweating in it, that means there's not good ventilation. So is that a big deal? Not really. But it is what it is. All right, and show you the back side. The back is kind of cool. I did not mention on the front. And let's pretend this is the front. Somewhere around here they have these buckles that will go here, and you can actually use those removable panels that a lot of companies out there will make. You know, you have like the Molly panel that'll Velcro on here. There's a term for them, I don't remember what they're called, but they have the buckles that will actually go here and here, and then you can on the front. And then you can use those with, you know, that plate carrier. I don't really choose to do that because I don't have, you know, 13 different systems I need to, you know, set up with one plate carrier. So I can just move stuff around. It's not that big of a deal to take off a molly pouch. I mean, it's obnoxious, but I'm probably only going to do it once a year, if that. So to me, it's not necessary. But the fact that they include, those buckles are cool. And then these other two larger buckles on the back are actually for a backpack they designed. Now this is the Mandalorian patch. You can rip that off. But this Velcro right here and up here is kind of designed to integrate with a backpack that Tacticon sells that'll fit on the back of the plate carrier. So that's kind of cool. That's why the Velcro is kind of a little bit, non-traditional over here. So these little buckles, will obviously attach to this, which will attach to the backpack buckles, holding it in place along with the Velcro. One of the things I'm not a big fan of as well, and again, this is because everything I want to be overbuilt. I know it's a flaw in my brain. I get that. But these little buckles right here on the cummerbund, well, they're not really buckles. They just kind of slide in right here. It seems like that would be easy to accidentally remove. Now, whenever it's tight against your body, like it's not going anywhere. But if you have this plate carrier where it's kind of loose on you, just know that this has the potential of sliding out. Now, it has a little hook. So in theory, it shouldn't. What I would like to see if they, wanted to do a design change is change this hook to where it's more aggressive going in there, to where it's kind of a pain to fold it under there. So where you can still get it off, but it's not easy to remove. I would rather this be harder to remove and not have to worry about it falling out. Again, it hasn't fallen off, and I've worn this, again, probably almost 8 hours at the range at this point, which is not a long time, but it's enough where you're going to start developing, if you see problems, you're going to see it. So I'm not a big fan of that. I would prefer some other type of either a QD system, either some type of buckles, like this, or just make it to where, again, this is more aggressive, to where once it's in there, it kind of, locks it in place where it's hard to remove. It also does have a drag handle up top that Velcros out of the way. It Velcros down so it's not dangling, tickling the back of your neck, which, I can appreciate. And in case you're wondering, these buckles right here that are attached, so you can detach this and this just kind of flops here. Kind of annoying, but, it is what it is. But whenever you buckle this in here, this is for attaching the backpack. Now, you could, if you don't ever intend on using a backpack, yeah, you could just cut this off if you want to, but you got the hiccups. But it's there, so if you want to use their backpack, it's all integrated into the system. They have a lot of features in this backpack. They have a lot of features on this plate carrier, which I can appreciate, especially for the price. Again, if you find this thing on sale, you're looking at around $75, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know of a plate carrier that's around that price that comes with this many features and all the different things on here. Yes, you could get Condor, or, an Amazon special or something, but honestly, for the price, I'm shocked on how well this thing is built. Other than the IR reflectivity and a few small, gripes, complaints, and changes that I personally would make, nothing on this plate carrier has failed. Nothing's fallen apart. All the stitching looks phenomenal. If y'all have any questions about this, please comment down below. This was a company I was not familiar with until I, stumbled across them on YouTube, and then now I enjoy their content. I like listening to their podcast, but I highly recommend buying from them because they have the same mindset that I think I do, of trying to figure out why people are justifying spending tons and tons of money on really, really expensive equipment when that's not necessarily, required. So again, I think you are getting a good value for your dollar when it comes to this plate carrier. And I think if you're looking for a good starter plate carrier and you're not, a skinny beanpole like me, this would probably be a really good one to start off with. I wish my AR500 plate carrier had these quick release buckle systems. It doesn't. But I wish it did. Now that I've had this, I've gotten spoiled by how easy it is to take on and off, and especially after seeing, Ukraine footage, I'm kind of wishing my other one had that. I think AR500, if I remember right, actually started making their newer Testudo line or something, including some type of buckle system like this. I'll have to look into that a little bit. But anyways, if you appreciate this kind of video, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. I enjoy reviewing stuff that I think is a genuinely good value, and I think this kind of fits that bill. I appreciate you all watching, and I hope you all have a good one.